My take on the Nolan Wells case, BART did it. Now, this is allegedly.
Allegations, speculations are still going on about Nolan Wells. Welcome back. How are y'all doing? Let's just dive right into this one. Yes, sir. This is still sparking the internet because as we speak, everybody, a lot of people really want to know what happened to Nolan Wells, the black boy that went on vacation July 4th with his white friends but never came back. The rest of the friends came back, but he was the only one that did not make it back home. And now a lot of people are making allegations, they are making speculations. This is something is still fishing. That's why this is still sparking the internet. I'm gonna be rolling yo. How people are reacting. I think they had an interview about the boys, the friends, the so-called friends. Yes, the interviews, a lot of people are listening to their interviews and they try to make one or two things out of it. But you know what? Just like we said, the allegations, the speculations is still going on. But until the main cause, being revealed, this is still gonna be sparking the internet. That's the way I see it. Credit to all the creators, and let's remember the family of Nolan Wells in our prayer. May his soul rest in peace.
My take on the Nolan Wells case, BART did it. Now, this is allegedly, but I believe that BART did it. I believe that BART had some type of relationship with Katie. Katie was obviously with Nolan. BART had a jealous rage seeing a young black male with a white female. We know in states like Mississippi, I see it all the time in my community, where white guys get jealous to see black guys with white girls. I've seen it a million times, and people who deny this are flat out lying. I believe what happened was that BART put Nolan in a chokehold, and he didn't realize his own strength, and Nolan did not wake up. Hence the reason why we hear in the background of the CETO call, we hear, "Damn it, BART, Nolan, wake the fuck up, is he dead?" All this is allegedly now. Well, if he just accidentally killed him, then why wouldn't they bring him to the police? Because BART has so much to lose. He was the star football player on his way to the NFL. A manslaughter charge, whether it's involuntary or voluntary or a negligent homicide, is not going to look well on his resume and would obviously disqualify him from his NFL career. Because of his football stardom, and apparently he has a family with the same pedigree, he has clout around town enough to get people to remain silent, enough to help construct an alibi, and also put the fear of God in these kids. Tell them that you're also going to be implicated in this, and we're all going to go down. We're all going to be arrested. Also, why they tried to place BART not at the scene initially. Now, they went on a speaking tour. Warren did the most talking, and listening to him talk with Officer Tatum, he almost did too much talking and told on the crew. Warren says that when they got the boat back, that he went upstairs to talk to the father of one of the kids rather than hanging out with everybody downstairs. He says that they were talking about boats up there. Now, why would you even bring this up? Like, why would this even be a part of the story if it was such an innocuous thing that you were just going upstairs to randomly talk to a father about boats? The reality is because they weren't talking about boats. They were constructing an alibi and a cover story. And when they came downstairs, it was automatically like, oh, what happened to Nolan? Where is Nolan? Has anybody seen Nolan? Let's call the Coast Guard. Why would they call CETO? Why would they call the Coast Guard? Because it creates a timeline. It creates like a paper trail of where they could have been anywhere but with Nolan. Also, why would you call the Coast Guard if you truly believe that Nolan just was behind with the girl Katie? Even if Katie had came back at that point, why wouldn't you think he's off with some other girl or doing something else? Why would you think something nefarious happened? Why? Because you had his phone and you knew that something nefarious happened. Again, this is allegedly. Let's smoke them out. What doesn't come out in a wash always comes out in a rinse.
20 names. BART has given us 20 names of people he recognized that was on Horns Island that day that Nolan died. We're not going to say unalive. We're going to say Nolan is dead. We're not using these specialty words. We're going to speak the truth and shame the devil. BART has given out 20 names. 20 names. Finally, one of them is cooperating. 20 names. And have y'all noticed that TMZ seemed to be like BART's personal PR team? I don't know what's going on there. I've never seen this before in my life. Anyway, BART has given up 20 names, sent out a cease and desist. BART said, keep my motherfucking name out your mouth. One thing I did notice is that nobody has spoken up on behalf of BART. None of his crew have defended him and say, hey, BART wouldn't do nothing like that. BART wouldn't kill somebody. He ain't jealous. Da, 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 da. None of that has come out of any of their mouths, which makes me super suspicious. I was over here eating my protein bar, minding my business, and I got this update, and I'm like, 20 names? And there is a long list of people that BART has stated that was there, and y'all better look at them and not be looking at me. BART is saying, listen, I got a football career. You're not going to mess up my football opportunities by putting my name in something that I had nothing to do with it, allegedly. I'm waiting for more people to start saying. Because the fat lady is singing. BART said, keep my name out your mouth. Here are 20 people that could have harmed Nolan Wells. Y'all better start asking questions. And I'm listening. Y'all better be listening. Now, what y'all think about BART giving out 20 names?
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. So what do you guys think about that audio?
From this very first question, I start wondering, is ex-Officer Tatum being paid by the attorneys that represent these young men or the young men's families themselves? Because that is a question that is very loaded, and it's leading towards innocence. It lets the interviewees know that the interviewer has a bias, and thus it's more about getting out a narrative than of finding the truth. Now, I want to be clear. I do not know what these boys did or did not do, but when you release videos like this, you open yourselves up to a certain level of scrutiny that was not there before. And that question doesn't sound like you are interested in an unbiased answer. You ask the question in a biased way that makes the interviewees feel more comfortable.
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat, you know, as it's rolling, not rolling, but right there sitting in the water, Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something, or scrambling around, or everybody in a pot, like in a small space on the boat looking at him or something? I mean, it's just so crazy to think that, why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat?
To be very clear, when you are professing your innocence and you are passionately talking about your alibis and talking about how you would never do this and strongly advocating for you did not do this, that is not in and of itself proof of innocence.
Y'all want to know why this Nolan Wells shit a really big deal, bro? Because we seen in real time how like white boys act when they friends die, and we just not processing it, bro. If this would have been like 4 black dudes and they lost one of their friends, bro, you would have saw like Justin for Nolan's t-shirts, Sly for Nolan. You'd have saw tears, crying. Somebody might would have had to hit a blunt, a double cup. There, bro, it's no way you could find me 4 black boys that lost one of their friends, and nobody on there ain't got a box of tissue, Kleenex, or like a slide for Nolan, justice for Nolan. Yo, we gonna find out what happened. We want answers. Man, they would have been they would have been the ones out here asking for answers. They would have been out there like, yeah, man, if something happened to Nolan, we put in BTA. You feel me? Like, swear to God, on phone them. You feel me? It wouldn't have been no, oh yeah, it was just a normal day, you know, he was our brother. Man, it would have been emotion, bro. Y'all need to do me a huge favor. Fire y'all fucking PR team, bro. And then if y'all want to do a real interview, bro, go to like Nancy Grace or fucking Kumo or Don Lemon or Gail King or somebody. Go to Piers Morgan. Stop fucking interviewing with this clown with these leading ass questions.
Well, what do we have here? Nolan Wells' friends trying to convince us that they're innocent of murdering him. Yeah, fam, they went on Officer Race Tatum's show again, trying to convince us that they did nothing wrong and we should back off. Stop accusing them. Stop looking at them. Stop asking questions. Let it go. Tatum, is strange to me. He's a strange fellow because, according to him, he used to be a police officer. Now, I am absolutely certain that when he was in the academy, they told do not lead, because if you lead, you can find yourself in a really, really tricky area of entrapment, right? Or you can find yourself in a tricky area of trying to help somebody provide an alibi. Yeah, that audio, that's what he was saying. The audio, it just didn't seem authentic to me. What do you think about the audio? No wonder he's a former police officer. Would have never made detective. Never in a million years would he have made detective. This is Warren thinks he's smarter than everybody. That's why he keeps talking. That happens a lot when you're dealing with narcissists. You know what? I'm going to have to get into that with Elliot Connie in a few. He's up next. He's on the next episode of Willie D Live. I'm going to get with him right after this episode, because I need to talk to him about these behavior patterns. He's a psychotherapist, so he knows about these type of things on a clinical level. But look, fam, something wrong with this guy. Something is wrong with this guy, and something is wrong with all of these guys. And it's another guy in this particular interview. I didn't see him on screen, but I could see half of his body and had his hands folded. Like Tristan, I think his name, Tristan, whatever his damn name is. Maybe that's him, because, he had his hands folded the entire time. Hands folded, that would indicate that perhaps you're bored, or maybe you're angry. And if you're angry, what are you angry about? He's had his hands folded in the last interview he did with Tatum. So it was like, he was angry with Bill Crump and Al Sharpton for asking questions, snooping around Mississippi, asking questions, messing with the good black folks there, messing with their relationship with the white folks and the good black folks, messing with their relationship. Can't have that. So we got to shut it down. Shut it down. Now, here's the thing, fam. This is why I say that I just don't believe these guys, right? Let's go straight to his buddy. I think I don't know if his name is Jax. They call him Jax or whatever, but the dude in the middle, right? This guy, he stated that you know what? Let me back up. Let's go to Warren. Warren stated that the reason we turned down the Coast Guard is, and then he cut himself. He cut off. And then he said,